everyone. Um, Thank you, Abhimanyu, for inviting me. And I thought I would start with a poem by American Palestinian poet. We have read quite a few poems in the past few months, uh, kind of representing the trauma that all of us are feeling vicariously sometimes, but definitely very intensely. Now, we've read so many poems, but this is a poem that stays with me, especially because it deals with issues that I think about very often. Can I touch this? I'll do that. Okay. I think it's slightly low. Didn't happen a bit. Slightly low. Yeah, thank you. This is a poem that stays with me, and I'm going to read this poem by Noor. Fuck your lecture on craft, my people are dying. Colonizers write about flowers. I tell you about children throwing rocks at Israeli tanks seconds before becoming daisies. I want to be like those poets who care about the moon. Palestinians don't see the moon from jail cells and prisons. It's so beautiful, the moon. They're so beautiful, the flowers. I pick flowers for my dead father when I'm sad. He watches Al Jazeera all day. I wish Jessica would stop texting me Happy Ramadan. I know I'm American because when I walk into a room, something dies. Metaphors about death are for poets who think ghosts care about sound. When I die, I promise to haunt you forever. One day, I'll write about the flowers like we own them. This, like I told you, is a poem that stays with me. And I thought I should start my reading with this because I don't really have poems about Palestine, but I have poems about home. So I'll read a couple of poems which deal with I'm from Assam. And even though I've been staying in Delhi for many, many years now, it's a place that stays with me. It's a place that obviously defines a lot of what I write and defines who I am. Now, this is a very tiny poem. It's called the Voiceless Velar Fricative. It's a particular sound that we Assamese people are able to pronounce. Um, it's a sound ho, or when you say ahom or ahomia, it's a sound that very few people can pronounce. So this tiny poem is about that sound. It's called Voiceless Velar Fricative. And the ho in ahomia, ahomia, henduria, henduria, hondia, hondia, honjibuni, honjibuni, very few can voice me. Stamped different, marked minority, marked unspeakable, I survive in small pockets of the world. An airiness invades me like an unknown quality. I'm a secret between lovers. I'm an articulated silence shaky with lust. I'm singularity of sound. I'm a nation's difficult past. I'm bound and sung by the rules of the tongue. Um, I'm going to read a it's a prose poem, slightly long, not very long, but at least a page long. It's about this witch figure in Assamese folk stories, in Assamese folklore. Um, she's called the Jokhini, and she resides on trees, which is what we witches generally seem to tend to do. So this is about my childhood, about memories, about the anxieties that people feel around characters that are other. Joking. I love this tree. Do you know the tree outside Dr. Da's house? The one just across the garden? It is a nice tree, a flowering tree. Throughout the year, tiny white flowers bloom all over the body of the tree. It's a shame I can't remember the name of the tree. I might have known it once, but not any longer. I love sitting on this particular branch. It curves so beautifully and fits me so well. When I sit here with my legs swinging in the air, 1, 2, 1, 2, I can see right into Dattada's bedroom. I watch him sleep every night. I can follow his dreams as he tosses and turns on the bed that belonged to his grandmother. Sometimes he wakes up, gets out of bed, looks out of the window. I almost feel his eyes on me. Does he know that I am here? Does he know that I watch him night after night, waiting for him to come out, waiting for him to touch my tree, waiting for him to touch me? But no, he doesn't see me. He only sees me in his dreams, sees my eyes as sharp as curses, sees my hair that burns in the wind, sees me naked. Sometimes I get bored. I sing. I talk to myself. I play with my hair. The day irritates me and I try to escape between the leaves and the white flowers. When the night arrives with its harsh whisper of consent, I feel better. I've taken to laughing a lot. Everything amuses me. The insects that I catch and tear apart, the children on the way home after play, Mrinal mauling his little cousin's fresh breasts. Everything amuses me. With his inked fingers, his pajamas, and his sad dog eyes, even Dattada seems funny. And I can't stop laughing. I laugh because I've nothing else to do. My laugh becomes one with the wind and the pollen and the cries of the children. I know I can wait forever, but it's tiring. When will the pig come out and piss on my tree? When? I want to go and pull him out of the window. I want to scratch him in anger, but I can't. It's not allowed to me. My feet will always walk away from me, away, in the other direction. My feet, my poor, poor feet. I seem to remember a time when I had feet, real feet, and not the ones that I have now, always turned away from me, annoyed with me. However, I cannot be very sure. I'm never very sure of most things. So I moan and scream and shake the tree until the white flowers fall like dust to the ground. The white flowers fall like dust to the ground. I'm reading this poem, even though I never really read it because it was published in Sunflower. It's about my father, uh, who died of dementia. So it's a poem called Dementia, and it's dedicated to my father. For a decade, all he did was plan an escape. I'm going home. My mother waits for me. It's late. She will worry. That was my father. Over and over again. His story rife with spies and alibis. A little boy looking for ways to flee from strangers, jailers, his wife, whom he called his bride but could never recognize. Her body, bent and tired, while he was a boy, raw, brown, playing late into the evening as his mother waited. And then, on a June night, he lay down rooting for daylight and ritual, the snarl of sedation and defeat forgotten as usual. Young, live again. He ran to a mother who waited for him with laughter, a full-blown cover of sanity, incense, and water. His clothes not soiled, his nostrils blocked to lies, his skin no longer just a stretch of creased matter over bone, smelling of darkness and Dettol. Oh, I've never read this poem before, my goodness. Okay. Now this is an extract from, this is the title poem, Crowbite. Uh, it's a short story, it's a poem. My publisher, our friend, Dibba, believes that it's a poem, but I'm going to read just a small portion of it. It's about, let me just read it, because it has that portion. This is just an extract. One day, some months before he died, father called me to him and told me a story. Babai, when I was your age, I heard a voice crying out to me. It was a full moon night and I could see the fields around me. I walked towards the voice, shouting, "Who are you? What do you want?" There was no response, just a wild moaning and wailing. After a while, I started shivering in fear, but I kept walking. My clothes were wet with my sweat, and my feet felt each pebble on the road. I saw a goat approach from the left. After a while, I realized it was not a goat, but a big white bird, and it carried a crow in its beak. The crow was dying, and it had tears in its eyes. I reached out to touch it. But at that very moment, the white bird flapped its wings and disappeared into the night. After telling me the story, father went back to his habitual silence, and I went to the forest to brood. It was not easy having a father like him. I was almost relieved when he was found dead by the water hyacinth pool. But the story is about me, and I should get back to it. I wanted to draw on cloth like my father. It was easier for me. The new cotton mill in our village threw away a lot of cloth, and I went there every week to pick up the ones I wanted. My mother sometimes looked at me with worried eyes. Perhaps she feared I would turn out like my father. I did not talk to her much. I did not explain things to her. I was certain this was the way to be, the new way to draw. I did not have to rush against time, paint, paint, paint without thought while the walls dried fast and furious. When I turned 25, crows began to interest me. I remember the day well. Sharma Master had asked me to come and paint his son's nuptial room. I was given tea in the cup kept aside for people like us. The whole day I painted the usual, mating snakes, cooing doves, butterflies on scarlet hibiscus, young couples garlanding each other. And just before I ended, just as the day drew to a close, a few crows. Sharma Master flew into a rage when he saw them and shouted at me, "You are as mad as your father. Erase the crows, you low-born bastard." I walked home. Inside me, I felt the need to draw more crows. I knew I could not do it in my mother's presence and went off to the forest whenever I heard the crowbite in my fingers. It was a longing I could not control. In fact, I did not want to. Approximately a year later, I saw the first changes in me, and soon Bhobai the man turned into Bhobai the crow. I embraced the change with blue black wings. My mother never found out. She always had rather poor eyesight. All those years of poring over colors, fussing over brushes had done that to her. I sometimes called when she was near to see if she noticed. She never did. Is it time?
Yeah, please.
I'm instead of reading poetry, I'm spending a lot of time reading prosy stuff. Um, and because Delhi is also home for me, I'm going to read a couple of Delhi poems. Uh, Directions, and this is about Chandni Chowk, Dariba. It's a love poem. It's called Directions. Move beneath the streets. The world was disemboweled for you. Ask a red-spitting man to pedal you through Pahari Bhojla. He will fly by the Bulbuli Khana. Wait a moment. Think of birds singing there, any bird, perhaps even the bulbul in the middle of the bazaar. Look sideways at a house called Choliwala and think of bangles. While you jump jolt on your seat, parts of cars will shine, a grease shine at you. Eyes will look briskly, slowly at engines, dashboards, tires, bumpers, and you will hurtle closer to me. But first, don't forget the chitli kabar. Don't forget it could be the grave of a goat or a girl or a cheetah or a horse. A queen was buried somewhere near here. Razia, she's here, somewhere near Masjid Amrudwali. The stories will chase you like the sounds of a horse. Stop near Dariba, I'm waiting here. Buy earrings for me today. I waited so long for you. Maybe I'll read a cat poem because there's a cat here. And again, this is a slightly longish poem. It's based on a folk tale, an Assamese folk tale, and it has been translated. It's been textualized and also been translated into English. It's called The Cat's Daughters. Mekuri Jiek in Assamese. It's a very interesting tale of um, a cat giving birth to human daughters, and a human woman giving birth to cats, but we don't know about that part of the story. We only know about the part where the cat gives birth to daughters, human daughters. So the cat's daughters. Prologue. We grew inside our mother. She whispered to us, "You're mine, mine." Not knowing better, we agreed. Beside her skin's luminous husk, we were foam feelings, limbs creased like clouds, permeable blobs. We stayed on hold, slowly expanding, surging, slippery like similes. We imagined our mother's unhurried beauty, dark and large, with a brooding discretion, bristly from a distance. While we floated inside, she offered us a lullaby. Oh, I wanted fish. And that woman took all the flesh and gave me bones until I grew thin and shrill. So this is the story. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting myself. But the woman of the house to whom this cat belonged, the woman never fed the cat properly. So the cat was always hungry, and therefore, the curse that, whatever in my belly should go to your belly, and whatever in your belly should come to mine. Whatever is in your belly should come to mine. We imagined a mother's round-eyed anger, hissing with a hankering for fish. Shush, my sister, don't disturb her now, we told each other. She purred. Oh, how I hated that woman, until one day I could take it no longer and said, whatever's in my belly will be yours, and what's in yours will be mine. I wanted her fish-fed fullness, but I received you, my daughters. We imagined a mother's curse-laden yowl as we flowed and glowed inside her cradle. Her maw was an open green, tail upraised, ears spitting noise, hunched twice over. She was love and fear all at once. Her many children became two. We two. We woke up to multiple nipples. We were human, unlike our mother. Epilogue. We imagine our mother aging. We worry about her. She tells us, if the basil dies and the milk curdles, come save me. And so the basil dies and the milk curdles, and we go off on our travels. No, we marry neither the merchant nor the river prince. We birth neither pestles nor pumpkins. We want to find a mother. See her silver eyes, touch her old fur, kiss her fish mouth again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Abhimanyu, for inviting me.
Thank you, Nitoo, for these delicate, exquisite poems.